You just mentioned briefly including roads in a lot of your photos. You said also even when you're shooting models, you like to include a road in there as well. Can you talk a little bit about your transition from landscapes to including models on those landscapes? Kind of how did you get into that? I don't know to get into that groove, but how did you get into that style of shooting, the genre of shooting, and and what was the experience like for you as you started to do that?
Um, being honest with you, when I was young, I remember it's gonna be. I remember stealing or going into my father's room and actually getting a copy of Playboy, and I genuinely I always said when I had a love of photography, I always said I want to do I want to do a photo shoot with a woman, and I want to do I want to do I could I had these visions in my head of like flowing dress, Cliffs of Moher. I had visions of kind of walking down a forest path with rose petals behind. Like there's a lot of these ideas. I have some wonderful ideas in my head that I would love to put on a print.
Mm.
Um, like I bought an iron bed. I'm sorry if I'm getting off topic for a second, but I bought an iron bed and I want to get that and I want to put it in a beach and I want to put somebody with a red dress on top of it and I want to let the waves crash in around it, things like that. I mean, I just have so many of these different like kind of ideas, just to give you an example. But I found that I wanted to incorporate some of these visions that I had and some of the things that I wanted to do that I thought that would look nice in a photograph. I found myself looking at trying to find these big flow dresses that would blow in the wind and a model, and I asked a friend or I asked somebody to do it with me and we did an image and I took a photograph of it and I did a few more and I did some work for a wedding dress company in Cork and it just started blossom from there. And then I created another photography account on Instagram outside of my own because I felt that the model images it was becoming a whole different arm of things, and it just kind of basically grew from there. And as I said, I've got probably about like a horse at sunset on the beach with a girl with like kind of a dress riding along the beach and uh, a bikini model in the water and on her knees and the sun glistening off. You know what I mean? Things like that. It just so many different ideas that I have. I mean, that's very vague with the swimsuit one, but I have an awful lot more. But I wouldn't go into all of them now. But it's just like a faucet. I even thinking of it now, thinking of things that I want to do. And it's just to find and you've got to find the right person to do it as well, because a lot of these shoots that I want to do are very time consuming. Usually, if you're doing a shoot with somebody, especially if it would be something like that, that would be a concept shoot or a free shoot. And to get the time and the availability of both yourself and a model to be able to go out 3 or 4 hours to a rocky beach, set up a bed, wait for the tide to come in, for the waves and all that kind of stuff. And, you're looking at makeup, all that kind of stuff. You could be looking at 4, 5, 6 hours to pull that off. And you're only going to pull off one image. I mean, I guess I will eventually pull it off, but it's not, again, you try to incorporate an awful lot of these things, even like with waterfalls. I've load of different ideas to do for stuff like that as well, but it just all takes time, and that's what really is the cornerstone behind where I went from all landscape photography to landscape model photography.